Why do I not get as many problems as a lot of you with Elementor websites? Plain and simple. I keep them lean and mean. I'm not going to add on Elementor add-on plugins. Even when a client wants a feature that I know the add-on could solve, I will steer them away from that and I will try and give them a compromise, or can I get another solution using a bit of code, or get them to understand what was the benefit of having this flashy thing pop up. Was it really needed to get across the message to your customers or your clients or your leads, or convert to make the sale? I also won't install loads of other plugins, especially when you get to WooCommerce. Do you need to have everything on there? Because I like to ensure that whenever there is an update with WordPress or Elementor or some of my other plugins, and there's a link in the video description, you can see the plugins that I use, I don't want to have conflict. I don't want to have a plugin that's not been updated suddenly interfere or cause a problem with a plugin that has updated. The third thing I do is I don't rush to update either. I don't know why whenever WordPress do an update, or Elementor do an update, or WooCommerce do an update, or ACF do an update, why do people rush to hit the update button? Why have you got auto updates enabled? You can on minor plugins, all right? You can get away with it with your SEO and other stuff like that. But you don't want to be doing it for WordPress. So if you've got a WordPress managed website, and a lot of you will have WordPress managed hosting where it automatically updates, make sure you go and disable it or delay it by at least 48 hours, especially for WordPress, because there's always going to be little glitches or bugs. And with Elementor and Elementor Pro, unless you've got a test dummy website where you just want to experience and see what happens whenever there is an update, you got to wait at least a week. Always wait until the sub versions are coming out. And even then, I might wait 10 days. Now, if there was a feature they were giving you that you really were waiting for, test it out, but don't update on a live website. Only ever update on the day that Elementor or WordPress or one of your other plugins releases an update if it was to fix a vulnerability. And they do kind of make clear, they normally say, make sure you update today because of the risk factor of a vulnerability, security problem, whatever. They usually make that clear. In that scenario, you might want to take heed and do it. But if it's a standard update, just don't. Wait a little bit. Final reason why I don't get problems is I'm very careful what code snippets or codes I add. If I know it's going to be beneficial from a performance aspect, or because I want to get more out of a widget or another plugin on my website, I'll add it in. But just because there's loads of codes out there, you don't have to add everything in. So you can keep your website working and functioning fine, because I just don't get the problems that so many people do. And often I can see the reason. You've got loads of Elementor add-ons, even though you've got Elementor Pro. And when you look at the add-ons, were you really using that for just one little carousel feature or something like that? You got too many plugins going on in the back end. You got plugins that are still installed. They might not be activated, but they're still installed. You haven't checked your PHP memory limit. Maybe your website has gone super big, like you're backing up upon backups. Make sure you remove your backups. Otherwise, when you do a backup, it might include the previous backup and the previous backup, and suddenly your website becomes 25 gigabytes. Just don't over-install items, because we all made this mistake, right? When we first started using WordPress, I think we can all admit to ooh, our website's got 50 plugins because I want that, and I like that, and I like a bit of that, and ooh, that's a brand new feature. And then we suddenly realize, how many of you, go on, admit it in the comments, how many of you were using Elementor Free, you weren't going to get Elementor Pro, and then you had 8 or 9 plugins, add-ons for Elementor installed, and then one day the website went boom, and you couldn't properly work out why. How many of you, go on, admit it, because we've all been there, and then you kind of go, yeah, I think we need to use Elementor Pro in this scenario. So make sure you don't over-install, disable auto update, and wait a bit. It's not that tricky. Lean and mean, and your website will be clean, or it will work. I'm Imran, Web Squadron. See you soon.